Understand the principles of communicating complex information to non-technical listeners. So he's speaking from the advanced manual technical presentations. Number 2, objective. Build and deliver an interesting talk based on these principles. Number 3, answer audience questions that arise during the presentation. And number 4, use a Microsoft PowerPoint slideshow to illustrate your message. Please welcome a real spark plug in this Toastmaster Club, Tracy Austin.
First of all, as part of my introduction, I want to thank all of you as Toastmasters members for helping me get to this stage in my public speaking career. I want to thank Ralph Smedley, the originator of Toastmasters, because when I joined this club in 2008, it was because I was doing training for the university, and I was terrified and I was terrible at it. It was that next day after that training that I decided I need to join Toastmasters and get better at this. I advanced through the Competent Communicator, started working in the Advanced Communicator manual, so I was getting more confident. But when I went through the first part of my stay at Toastmasters, I never, ever thought I would ever select on my own this called technical presentations. Never thought I would do that. I'm a relationship guy, not a technical guy. So thank you. Second thing, as many of you know, as of June 1st, I am taking early retirement from Franklin University. Thank you. And I thought this would be a great time to show you what I have been doing at my new job within the last year, Ohio National University. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how we go about doing our online courses at Ohio National University. And I'm going to do this mainly from an instructor perspective. I'll show you a little bit about what the student sees, but that's what I'm going to walk through today, is how do we go about doing our classes online at Ohio National University. Let me tell you a little bit about Ohio National University first before I dive in. We cater to a global audience. We have an executive director that actually goes out across the country, across the world, trying to develop alliances and partnerships with other foreign ministries or other schools, because there's a big need in the global environment for an American degree online. And we're servicing that sector. The degree programs that we offer a Bachelor of Business Administration, Hospitality Management, Human Resources Management, Marketing, Information Technology, and we also have an MBA program. All of our courses are 3 credit hours, and the tuition rate for undergraduate tuition is $250 per credit hour. Comparing that to Franklin, I can't even remember what Franklin is now undergraduate-wise. It's probably about $500 per credit hour at Franklin now. For the MBA program, it's $350 per credit hour. So it's very affordable for those global environments. And the environments that we're targeting are Southeast Asia, Guatemala, and Africa. So a low price point for that audience. The classes are 8 weeks long, and we have 6 terms per year. So when you think of when we went to college, it was fall, winter, summer, quarter, or semester. We just simply have terms by days. So 48 weeks, we have classes going on with breaks in between that. We also we deliver our courses, that the online courses, the assignments are due in what we call units. We'll go over that here in a little bit. We have 16 units, and there are 2 units due each week. There's a unit due on Monday by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Thursday, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that is set in every course. It's consistent. So what I'm going to walk through is a class that I taught recently in January. I'm going to show you how the class is set up online. This platform, the learning management system that we have, is called Blue Quill. It's a homemade learning management system. So this is the course that I just taught, like I said, in January. So I want to call your attention to some of the things here and how we set up our courses. Here in this syllabus, or the course information, are a lot of helpful what we call learning objects, all right? So if I click on the syllabus, it's much like a syllabus that we had when we went to college back in the day. It's got the prerequisites, the course description, the outcomes, the ebook, and I will actually show you an example of an ebook. And then we have these, what we call references, reference guides. What we do with the reference guides, think of a library and a student learning center or a resource center, because we house all of that material online for students to access 24/7. So I'm going to access this reference guide, and this is for a class, the CM100 of which I teach, and they have all of these helpful hints about each of those subjects: time management, personality assessment, learning styles assessment. Actually, even public speaking is one that's on here, and there's a video of me doing my gremlin presentation, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And I want to show this one, because APA, we don't use MLA, we use APA. When I pull that up, and again, this is for students, so they can actually see exactly how to do an APA in-text citation or a reference guide or a reference page. So if we just look at two authors, they can click that, and here is an exact example of how they would set up the in-text citation or a reference page as well. So everything is right at their fingertips, because APA is all about what source are you using to include in your paper. So there are reference guides. I bet we have probably about 50 reference guides, depending on what the class is, that students have access to. So that's one thing that we have in the syllabus of this particular course. And you can see the other ones, the student responsibilities, the grading policies, and all of those other learning objects. Now, when we actually get to the assignments, that's what I'm going to walk through here with you. I'm going to walk through how we set up these assignments. So as an instructor, this is week 1. As an instructor, I create a welcome announcement that just gives a little bit about my background and keys to success in this course. The next thing that I have here is I actually have an overview of the course that I do in a recording. We use Skype for Business to do our recording, so I have an overview of how the class is constructed. Much like I'm doing today, I have a recording that I've done and placed in this learning objects, so students get a high-level overview of exactly what's going to be happening in this class. One of the things that we also do is we hold virtual office hours. So 1 hour a month, we have set day of the week and time that students can stop in virtually using Skype for Business to go over any class assignments if they have any questions or anything else in regard to the class. We hold out office hours. We also record those office hours in case students can't attend those virtual office hours. So you can always have access to it no matter where you are in the world. One of the other things that we have are what we call these unit recordings. So we have unit recordings in every unit of the class. So for this recording, what I have done is I have embedded a recording of this particular unit. So I'm going to show you what this looks like, and you can actually hear my recording. So I'm going to play it so you can hear it.
Hello, this is the Unit 1 recording, Foundations of Success.
I'm going to fast forward it to one other section so you can get an overview of what I do. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking the course that you're seeing right now that we're walking through, and I'm recording that on the desktop so they can see exactly what they are going to see when they log in to their class in this particular unit.
Part of what you will be doing as far as a presentation in this class. You can see the instructional resources that we'll use for this unit, the discussion board, Skype for Business, and the student portal. And then also you can see the new assignments. Now let's transition to the introduction. Here we go, 1-1 introduction.
So you get the idea that I do a recording for every single unit. One of the things that we also include in the recordings or attaching below the recordings are we have a script or an outline of what we are talking about in that video so we can be ADA compliant. So that's one of our ways to be ADA compliant. All right, so we've got that, and now I want to get to some of the actual course structure. The way we design our courses, we have what we call concept checks. So what a concept check is, it's usually quiz type questions, multiple choice or true, false, or check all that apply or matching. And what it is they have assignments to read, and then they will go do this concept check for 5 points, and it's an unlimited amount of attempts for them to score well in this concept check, because this is about making sure they understand the material. So they can take that concept check as many times as they want to get a good score. The same kind of principle apply to what we call these knowledge building assignments. Same kind of principle, unlimited attempts. They have certain things they have to read and then do knowledge building assignments. And I'll show you a little bit of that toward the end of what that looks like on the student end. Then we have what we call a unit assessment. What a unit assessment is, it will assess, so this one is 2-1, it will assess all the things that the student learned in Unit 1. And we have unit assessments in each week. Now with the unit assessments, they only get one attempt. So they build the foundation with the concept checks and the knowledge building, then they're taking the unit assessment, they get one attempt at that. The next high stakes things that they have in this class is we have midterm and final exams. So I'm going to go down to a final exam, which they are taking this week. So in the final exam, it is comprehensive exam of all the chapters and all the units, and they only get 90 minutes to take a midterm or final exam. And we actually do online proctoring through a company called Criterion. So what they do as a student is they will log in using their computer in wherever, a space at home, or in a library, they can do that. So they log into Criterion, and Criterion will ask for their ID, so they have to show their ID. So Criterion remotes into their computer. They have to show their ID with the camera that the student has, and they actually stay on the computer the whole time the student is taking the exam, because this is a high stakes exam. And they actually have you move around the camera to make sure no one else is in the room, and they can actually see where you go. So if you try to go to Google and try to find some answers, they will see that because they are logged into your computer. High stakes exams, midterms, and finals is how we do that. All right, now I want to show just a little bit more detail with what the student sees on their end. So I'm going to go to a concept check. So what the student does is they'll simply click the hyperlink that will take them to our publisher, our preference, our preferred publisher is McGraw-Hill. So all of our ebooks and our agreements are with McGraw-Hill. So if a student clicks this hyperlink, it'll take them to McGraw-Hill where all of these assignments are. So I'm just going to go to McGraw-Hill right here. I've already logged in to do this, but I want to show you an example of what a concept check looks like on the student end. So they have the dates that it's due and when you can start. If I click the concept check and preview it, this is an example of what the student will see on their end. All right, so they have read the material, supposedly. So there's the material that they would read. And then to do this practice with the concept check, they have the questions. And so those just keep churning. Every class is a little bit different as far as how many quizzes they actually have built in. But this is an example of what the student sees on their end for concept checks and for knowledge building assignments. Another thing I want to show is show a knowledge building. Okay. So this is what a knowledge building, of course the answers wouldn't be here, I'm in the faculty version of this. So this is an example of a knowledge building assignment. It is a check all that apply. So all the student does is they go through and take all of those 5 questions and they answer them. And it's scored on McGraw-Hill's end. And what we have we have a pool of questions. You can see there's 5 of 13 questions. So every student gets 5 different questions. So they never get all the same questions. So that's why we have that pool of 13. So McGraw-Hill will randomly bring in those 5 questions. And this is a multiple choice quiz, as you can see here. So that's what the student sees, except for they don't see the answers, of course. The next thing I want to show is a unit assessment. I'll show you what that looks like. Same kind of thing. This one's worth 10 points, and there are more true-false questions in this, and the pool is 19. Now, you may ask, okay, where's the book for the student? That's what this is right here. That's what the student will use for the class. It simply loads, and the book contents are in here for all the chapters. So this is chapter 1. Just scroll down and you can see the pages up in the top right, left-hand side. If I go to the next page. So everything is built right in for the students to access through McGraw-Hill. So I want to open it up to questions that you might have about how we do online classes at Ohio National University. Any question? Again, this is very high level. I could spend another presentation just looking at it from the student perspective and showing you the book and how they use the book. John Dale, you have a question?
In most educational settings, you put people into small groups. Do you do that with the online?
We do not. We do not.
Okay.
Do not. Yes, Brent.
Did you mention that your target audience, most of your students are in other countries?
Yes.
So is there a language issue to this that you have to overcome that would make you simplify the curriculum to some degree? Or no?
So we have an alliance with a school in Guatemala. So we actually deliver these degree programs in Spanish. So we have a conversion. Blue Quill will convert the language. And we're getting ready to do one in Poland also. So we're going to have to convert that to Polish. Yeah?
What I want to know is, do you speak Spanish?
No. Yes?
What do you mean by Blue Quill? Is it a
Uh,
software test?
It's just, that's the name of our learning management system. Other schools have Blackboard or things like that. We just built our own in-house, and we labeled it Blue Quill for, I think it's the Franklin University Blue I think that's why they did that. Yes, Dr. Brickell?
So what does it end up costing to get a bachelor's degree?
Yeah, you know, okay, so, anybody have a phone to calculate $250 per credit hour, $250 per credit hour times 120 hours? $250 times
28,000 or so.
120.
30,000?
30,000.
30,000,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good question. I meant to do that before I came. Yeah, good comparative point. Yes.
That's for the whole 4 years?
That's for the whole 4 years. Now, some people can bring in transfer credit, and it's going to be less. But flat out, 4 years, what'd you say, 20,000? 30,000. Yes, Karen.
Does it take 4 years or can they accelerate it?
They can accelerate it. There's a student, or a couple students right now that are taking 2 classes per term, and that's a lot. So you're turning in 4 assignments every week. But there are people that are doing that right now. Yes, TJ.
So overall, it looks pretty intuitive and easy to follow, but are the students given any kind of like a training or walkthrough before?
There is, when they are a new student and they log into Blue Quill the first time, there is a tutorial for that. Yeah, good question. And it's actually, some students struggle with it not being intuitive. There's a guy I'm working with in Africa right now that is struggling big time. And he's not going to pass it, but he's going to retake it again, so because now he knows what he's getting into. Yep, yes, John.
The proctoring,
Yes.
checking out their exams to
Yeah.
make sure they're not cheating or
Yeah.
whatever, is that in response to something in the online community that they're not considering online degrees credible or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, that's exactly why we went with a proctored approach. And there are a lot of proctoring companies out there to do this, so it's a big moneymaker right now with all this online education. And not all schools proctor their exams that way. I know when we first started at Franklin, the way we would proctor our exams like this is the student would have to go to a library or a testing center, and there would be a person there that is making sure they don't use anything they're not supposed to.
I guess the other question is, you said that Blue Quill was related to Franklin University's colors, so it sounds like you're moving from one room within an organization to another when you retire. Am I missing, or are there separate?
So I forgot to mention, Ohio National University is a division of Franklin University.
Okay.
I forgot to mention that. And so it's just another way to, for a revenue stream that we don't currently have. We don't have a big global market, so we want to penetrate that market. And from what the executive director says, there is a market out there for online education in a lot of these countries. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Anything else? All right. Again, I want to say thank you, Toastmasters, for me to be able to do a technical presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. So there you go, Tracy. What, in 2008, you didn't think you would ever be up here giving a technically oriented presentation, right? And you did it. So now we move next to our very important ability to speak spontaneously on the spot. And please welcome Dr. Mike Bricky to